Down the handoff to Marlon Mack, huge hole, 50-yard line. He's at the 40, still going near sideline. He's at the 10, he's at the 5, and he will score. Touchdown, Marlon Mack. Touchdown, INDY. And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard. Leonard with his second INT, and he's streaking down the near sideline. He's at the 40, he's at the 30, he's at the 20. He's gonna go a pick six for the Maniac.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What is up, Colts Nation? It's your boy, Michael Burgess. I am here. I hope you've had a happy new year. I know I have, and I hope this is not the last pregame stream of 2021, because today is a very, 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 very important day today. I am nervous, as you guys can tell. I am ready to go, though, however, because, I know a lot of people don't really like when our games are moved to 4 o'clock. However, in this situation, I'm kind of okay with it. Because, we'll get into it, but we have 3 specific games that we really got to look forward to, really got to get going and have a good time watching as well. So we'll get into that. But first and foremost, I actually do want to go over everything today. We are doing this a bit early because we want to watch those games at 1 o'clock. And because, it is the last red zone of the year, I want to make sure everyone gets to get wants to watch whatever they need to watch and get in their last little good football Sunday of the year. Let's get into the injuries real quick. Now, we all know, unfortunately, Anthony Costanzo is unfortunately out for the season. He's having season-ending ankle surgery. I'm one of those guys that thinks this may be his last year because of that. I don't know how serious the ankle injury is. I don't really know what exactly is going to happen. He was signed on to a 2-year deal last year. He was like, yeah, he wants to finish out his career, see what we can do with this team. He's been so integral and so important to these guys. So, it sucks to see. It really does suck to see. We'll go into what I think we'll probably do for the offensive line and how I think we're actually going to fix our woes and try to fix everything. Today could be a good day to maybe if one of the games in the 1 o'clock window goes the way we want, we can maybe try a couple different things during this Jacksonville game, as long as we get the win, of course, and see what fits better. See if we want Quentin at left tackle, see if we want Danny Pinter in left guard. Different things like that I have in my head circling around with the guys that we have out. So along with Costanzo, obviously Will Burton is out. Obviously Kari Willis is out, and so is Rock Ya-Sin. So right now, Rock and Kari are out with concussion. Will Holden, I think, is out with an ankle injury as well. So it's a leg injury. Kari Willis being out is significant. You could tell kind of in the second half of the Pittsburgh game, him being out. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. Him being out, let me make sure I don't have any more of those. Him being out was definitely a big thing. It was not very good. It was not really the second half of Pittsburgh, we all saw what we saw with the refs. We all saw what happened with the secondary and everything like that. It was not good. We won't get into it. We'll kind of just forget about that because we are Steelers fans today. But other than that, we don't have anyone listed as questionable. We have a large sheet of guys who are on the injury report, though. Most of them kind of due to rest. But the guys I'm looking at right now, our MPJ, he's just coming off of concussion protocol as well, but is looking up for him. Grover has a little bit of an ankle thing, and I think so does Defoe. So our 2 big guys in the middle, our 2 big D tackles, are kind of looking at maybe they could be questionable as well. But we'll have to wait and see what's going on. Now, let's get into actually those 1 o'clock games. I want to talk specifically about those 3 games that I'm looking at. And I've been trying to do some research. I've been trying to see what Schefter has been talking about. I've been trying to see what, Ian Rappaport has been talking about on, if there's any more COVID updates, if there's any more, incentives that guys are getting. I don't know if you guys have been following Adam Schefter. He actually decided to look at and go with he was talking about different guys having incentives for, Jordan Poyer today, Bill's safety. He needs 1 more interception for $250,000. Andy Dalton today, if the Cowboys win and get to the playoffs, he gets $1 million in incentives. So a lot of guys are playing for a lot of different things, which I'll get into with Jacksonville. I tried to do some research for the guys in the Jags and see what they were doing and if they were going on as well. I couldn't really find out anything too much with them. However, I know a lot of guys are playing for incentives. They're professional players. They want their money, and I get it. And, it's their last game of the year, which Jacksonville, again, I will get into. they already have the number 1 pick. So they're not really trying to play for anything. They're not really losing for anything. So they have nothing to lose, really. So I don't see why they wouldn't want to be flying around all game. But the 1 o'clock games that we care about are, of course, the Bengals versus the Ravens, Steelers versus the Browns, Bills versus Dolphins, and then Houston versus King Henry. Bengals and Ravens. The Bengals have been putting up fights, man. Like, they put up a great fight against the Steelers. They also have nothing to lose. Like, they know that they got their guy. They got their guy at QB. They know that they're just going to need offensive line help next year. So, like, I feel like they're not really in a situation where they want to lose and get a better draft pick. They want to just go out there and play. And it's against the Ravens. It's a division opponent, and I can see them flying around. I can see them maybe putting up a tough time if the Ravens go in. They're on a hot streak. They're on I think it was a 4 or 5 game win streak, something like that. We know that they were pretty solid at what they're doing. But the Bengals are going to come in flying around as well, I think, just like Jacksonville will against us. So I think that we'll have a good chance of, probably maybe spoiling something. But at the end of the day, the way the Ravens are running the ball right now, I think the Ravens are going to come out on top. It's just, it's up in the air. It's the NFL. We don't know. Like, the Jets have been beating up on people the past 2 weeks. So we don't know what's going to happen. It's the NFL. It's 2020. I was about to say, and it's 2020, but now it's 2021. For those of you who think it's going to get better, just wait. I'm just kidding. All positive vibes here in 2021. All right. Anyways, second game we're worried about. This is Steelers versus the Browns. Now, the Steelers are not starting a lot of starters. They have Big Ben out, Pouncey's out, TJ Watt's out. I think DeCastro is also out, something like that. And sorry about my eyes, guys. I don't know what's going on, but I have something in them. I sleep with my cat at night, and I'm sure that there's just a bunch of cat hair in them. So if my eyes look a little wonky, it's being weird. Anyways, they're losing a lot of starters, but they do have their starting receiving core out there. So, we are Steelers fans as we need the Browns to lose. And they've been dealing with COVID issues. They've been dealing with some injuries here and there, but they have their receiving core back out there. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are still obviously out there as well. So it's going to be a tough out. The Browns are literally playing a win and you're in scenario, and the Browns are trying to break the slump of 20 years of playoff drives. So whatever the years it has been for them, it's the longest active streak in the NFL, and they're trying to get the playoffs for the first time. And they got a fiery QB. They got a great head coach, I think, who could be in the running for Coach of the Year. I don't think he is, but he could be. And I just think the Browns are probably going to play too hard and too much because the Steelers just haven't had a rest. They barely had a bye week. So I don't really see that going our way. The last game that I want to worry about in the 1 o'clock slot is the Bills versus the Dolphins. Now, Sean McDermott obviously came out and said he's not going to say anything. He's not going to say what's going to happen. We know that Cole Beasley's out, I think, with an injury or maybe COVID. Who knows these days? It's one or the other. But I think they might play their starters. I think they might play some of the guys that we want them to play, like Josh Allen might play for a series or two. Like I mentioned beforehand, Jordan Poyer is playing for an incentive. He gets $250,000 if he gets one more pick. So who knows what they're going to do? If someone starts getting injured and they start getting scared, maybe they'll stop. But at the same time, I know that playoff seeding doesn't really matter right now. But if you're a Bills fan, and I'm trying to think of it as in Bills fans' shoes and trying to think of it how we're going to get this situation figured out here if we want the Bills to win. Governor Cuomo did say that they're going to allow fans in Buffalo for the playoff games. And if the Bills win, they are the 2 seed. Now, I know obviously they don't get the bye, and if they have to play the Chiefs, that means they're going to have, they're not going to have home field advantage. But if they're the 2 seed and somehow, maybe they don't play the Chiefs the next week, the Chiefs lose to whoever they play, Bills are now the highest seed, Bills get a home AFC championship game with fans. I'm just saying, maybe that's a good incentive because we all know how we think we're crazy. We're crazy on Twitter, right? We're just crazy on Twitter. We throw Twitter fingers here, Twitter fingers there. It's whatever. But with the Bills fans, they are actually nuts. And so I would love so much to see the Bills come out swinging today and try to, beat Miami, beat their division rival, be like, no, Miami, you're not getting in. Like they don't care about us. No other team cares about us, right? But we care if they win. But Bills, if I'm thinking in their shoes, no, Miami, we don't want you in. Fitzpatrick's out with COVID, so they have to rely on Tua. And I would love to see Buffalo come out swinging for their fans. That would be great. For us, of course, too. But so we'll see. That's the one I'm hoping for. That's the real big one I'm hoping for, unless they decide to not play their starters as much. So we'll have to wait and see. And then finally, of course, Houston is playing King Henry at 4:00 as well with us. Now, this is obviously I think this is probably the one that we have the least amount of chance for. I think Titans know they know that they're in a win-and-in situation. They know that they are trying to. I mean, they're going to probably run. They're going to run over Houston. If you saw what J.J. Watt said in his video last week, which I do highly recommend, about coming out and playing for the fans, playing because we're playing. This is our job. We're getting so much money to play not a child's game, to play a game. Fanatics like me, fanatics like you guys, we all get so obsessed with this game, and he cares about that. And a lot of Houston players should care about that. And so I'm hoping for, that they're going to come out swinging. Deshaun Watson, you can never count out a Houston team with Deshaun Watson on there. It's just a fact. And we know it very well. We got so lucky. I mean, not necessarily lucky. Our players are incredible. So I don't think we necessarily got unlucky there. It was an incredible play by Darius at the end there. So, Deshaun Watson keeps the Houston Texans in there, And so we'll see. But I really don't think – I think the Titans are going to come out really, really, really tough, especially after what happened against Green Bay. So we'll see. And that leads us into what we have to do, because none of those games matter unless we win. Not a single one of those games. It does not matter how much we enjoy our last day of Red Zone. It does not matter how much – it does not matter if all three of the teams win that we need, all four, unless we win. And – I should be saying this with so much more confidence, but the Jaguars just keep messing with us, and they keep just gnawing at our neck whenever we don't need it, and they're such a pest, and I respect them for it. But they're like, look, man, I don't know what it is, specifically in Jacksonville. I mean, look, in Jacksonville, we haven't won a game there since September 21st, 2014. It's been. I know now it's 2021. It's still technically 6 years, but that's about 7 years, almost 7 years since we haven't won in Jacksonville. And that's incredible to me. I can't believe I even found that stat. However, in the past 10 games we played them, we're only 3-7. So it's not like we're better at home either. Like, officially, we are really good. It's 24-15 against them, and our total for the Jaguars being an actual franchise and us playing them. So we have a little bit on the edge of an actual series, but man, the past 10 games we're 3-7, and we have not won in Jacksonville since 2014. Now I get it, we're at home this time. We have some fans. Our Lucas Oil, when I went, it really did feel like we had some home field advantage. They're pumping in fan noise when you have to. They're making it loud for all the fans, but I was up in the nosebleeds, and it was a fantastic time. So I think there is some home field advantage to us, so we should be okay. Now, I don't think I actually got into the who was out for the Jags real quick, so let me go ahead and do that too. DJ Chark's out, that's who I was worried about, really. I didn't know that he was out until this morning, so that's kind of good for us. James Robinson is obviously out. He was an incredible rookie running back. I hope you guys had him on your fantasy team because he did so well for me. And then Colin Johnson, another receiver, is out as well. Then the only guy that's listed on questionable is Nathan Cottrell. I can't remember exactly if that's how I pronounce it. But he actually is out questionable as well. And then on their IR list, CJ Henderson's on their IR list. Josh Allen's on their IR list. So they have some guys that are out, but then they also do have some really good guys. They have some really, really solid guys, specifically Joe Schobert and Miles Jack. They have some really good linebackers. Joe Schobert's got 132 tackles on the year. That's top 10 in the league. And Miles Jack's right behind him with 113. Now, of course, Darius Leonard is in between of them, and we all know how we feel about Darius Leonard. But they got some really good guys in the middle of the field. So, expect them to be pests out there. Expect them to play well. However, I really do think if we want to win this game, we got to just run the ball, and we'll get into that as well. But if we really want to kind of get out of this stigma of, beating Jacksonville, they really have been an absolute menace to us, is we need to start fast, and we need to make sure we score early. We need I know we don't want to talk about the Pittsburgh game, but just like we did against Pittsburgh, we need to start super, super fast. We need to get out swinging. We need to score right before them. We need to make sure we have everything under control because, I do like us playing with the lead as much as last week did not work out. Sorry, guys. As much as last week did not work out, I would much rather start off early. I would much rather go into the half being 21-7 against Jacksonville than I would against Pittsburgh. So I would love to see us come out swinging with that. Now, I want to get into our offensive line. And we'll get into some chat questions, too, and figure out what exactly you guys want to talk about and how you guys think the offensive line will be. Actually, I would love to actually know what you guys are thinking. If you know about an offensive lineman, if you think you know how you want to see us today without Costanzo and without Burton, let me know. I want to hear some of what you guys are thinking because I personally, honestly, kind of like putting Quentin out at left tackle, and I like the idea of bringing in Pinter at left guard. Now, I understand they really want him in that center. They're molding him at center because they want their new guy to be. I think because Ryan Kelly's basically the quarterback of that offensive line, and they want another quarterback back there, just in case Kelly goes down. Because he has had the injury bug before. But Kelly's also a Pro Bowler this year. Kelly's been so good. And I think, if we need to win these games, we have to win to get into the playoffs if we want to even think about the playoffs. And so we're going to need a good offensive line in the playoffs. Our right side's great. Braden Smith being back is a huge plus. Glowinski has been outside of that ridiculous – there was a stupid play call, or a stupid penalty against Glowinski against Pittsburgh. Outside of that one little blunder, which I don't even blame him for, he's been incredible. I think he's been one of the best offensive linemen in the league, just regardless of team. And so I really like what they're doing on the right side. Ryan Kelly's great. Obviously, Quentin you could put Quentin Nelson wherever you want, really. So that's where I'm thinking maybe we go and put Pinter in at left guard. And I'm not sure. Let's actually get into what you guys are thinking as well. You think Jared Valdir? Okay. Oh, yeah. That's the guy that we just got from Green Bay, correct? That's true. We could use him. We definitely could use him. I'll get into a little bit more as well. I want to get into these key matchups and a lot of these talking points before we get into the chat so I can just let it all out and let my anxiety just flow through you all. Just please, yes, it's honestly helpful. Every single week, this is like my therapy session. So thank you guys. Anyways, we need to run the dang ball. We need to make sure JT gets at least 20 touches today. I'm going to be very upset if he doesn't get any more in the second half because we all talked about it. We all understand what's happening with the play calling and different things like that. We also all understand that Rivers did check into different runs, different passes into different situations. It really is all about what the defense gives you and trying to play to what they give you. And I understand, but okay, from now on, we're leaving Pittsburgh out of here. Just forget about Pittsburgh. All right. So the key matchups I actually wanted to talk about today, which I actually did not know CJ Henderson was out or on the IR list. So I'm glad I figured that out because one of the key matchups I'm worried about today is actually Phillip Rivers versus the secondary. Let me go ahead and get this out of the chat. Bam. What I'm worried about, we talked about this. Phillip Rivers today, I think he's clearly a different quarterback from when he started this year. I think it's a huge drastic difference. He didn't really get into the flow of the offense, didn't really, kind of get into the rhythm of who he's playing with and his guys, which is why he used his tight ends so early, I believe, in the beginning of the year. And which is why, sometimes you don't really see him going to them as much anymore, unless on some play called and script plays. But I think, against that young secondary, they're going to come out swinging. We talked about the Jaguars. We talked about how they have nothing to lose. They already have Trevor Lawrence. They have their golden boy, their first-round pick. There's no chance they're going to trade that pick or do anything like that. They are definitely going to hold on to him. So we'll talk about that for sure. I'm sure BTJ, we're going to have a lot of different things to talk about in the offseason. One of those is going to be how we have to face Derrick Henry, Trevor Lawrence, and now Deshaun Watson twice a year. That's going to be – we're gonna need. I know we have a lot of game changers on defense, and I love the game changers that we have. But we're gonna need a dynamic, game changing offensive player as well soon. I can't get my hair out of my eyes. There is just everything is going on with me this morning. I showered, tried to get it all out of me. I sleep with my cat, and so my cat constantly has kitty hair in me, so I just look ridiculous. That's why I wear the hat. Anyways, I want to get into two more key matchups as well. I talked about Joe Schobert. I talked about Miles Jack. And I wanted to make sure that we understood that they are going to be very good in the middle of the field. And I don't want to underestimate them and underestimate what Jacksonville can do to us whenever they get out there. I need to just isn't this great content, you guys? Just making sure my eyes are okay. All right, let's go ahead and get into some chat questions now. Now, you're thinking Eason is barely getting reps. He's just potential at this point. I agree. I don't really understand if I trust Eason to be that guy. I mean, he was drafted in the 4th round. He had a lot of character concerns. He had a lot of different things that was, coming out that people didn't really like about him. But his deep balls were absolutely incredible. If you've seen them, and if you've seen how well he can throw the ball, it's just been incredible how he can get that. But I think it was Jim Aiello or Zach. I think it was Zach Hicks. I'm so sorry if I got the name wrong. But he was actually deep diving into what Jacob Eason has done in his all-22, or not all-22, into his college days. And it seemed to him that he could only really play well and he could only really hit those deep balls and hit the guys that he needed to if he was not improvising. He had to be in script. He had to be in the actual play call. And it had to be, something that was going on. Yeah, guys, sorry. Yeah, sorry about my eyes. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's ridiculous. I gave crack. Oh, wait, let me see this. I know, side note, you gave great cat advice. Well, that's going to be great. Anyways, rest confidence is big. Force loss of a game. Yes, I think it was. Yes, you're right. It was Zach Kiefer, I believe. He actually went into a deep dive about Jacob Eason. So it's up in the air about that. We'll discuss that later, I'm sure, in the offseason, like I mentioned. But right now, I'm just worried about Phil. I'm worried about his turf toe. I'm just trying to make sure that he'll be okay, All right, let's get into – I have a bunch of different things I wanted to talk about. Now, here we go. That's what I wanted. I say we get a lead early in the first half, give Eason the 4th quarter to learn the reps and have a bit of fun. I agree. I think that would be fun if we do have the lead, and especially if we do know if we're going to be making it into the playoffs. Like I said before, today is more about today I'm more worried about those 3 games, and I can talk about those 3 games with you guys as well if you want to discuss any of it. But we did this early because I need to get going at some point, maybe around 12. So we're going to be really worried about those. But if we get up there and we get going and Eason's ready and able, I say why not? Let's see what he can do. All right. Run the damn ball, Frank. I agree. I 100% agree we need to run the ball. Jonathan Taylor, like I mentioned, I think he needs at least 20 attempts. I think he needs at least 100 yards, which I forgot to mention, by the way. Jonathan Taylor actually only needs 84 yards today to get to 1,000 yards rushing. And if he gets to 1,000 yards rushing, I think he's the first rookie running back until I think it was since Joseph Adai to get 1,000 yards for us. So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited to see what he can do for us as well. But we're going to have to see. Need a good effort from guys like Teray and Lewis. It's been quiet. Yeah, it has been quiet recently. I know, obviously, Teray's been on that pitch count, and he's been, not really providing as much as we can. But if you look at the film, there has been some film on him where he's been he got to Deshaun Watson real quick last couple of weeks. He was getting to Ben sometimes as well, but he's just not really, the stats aren't there. He's not really getting there as soon as possible, which, could just be game speed. He's still not really fully used to it, but we'll have to make sure and see whatever he can do. But you're right. Tyquan Lewis hasn't done much either. And I mentioned beforehand, Grover Stewart is looking like he might be out. DeForest Buckner is also looking like he might be out as well. And so, if we don't need them, I'm okay with that, because against Jacksonville's run game without James Robinson, I think we'll be okay without Defoe if he needs that rest. But I'm also okay if he does a pitch count as well. So I'd love to see Tyquan make a lot more plays. I'd love to see, I would love to see if he could do that as well, but we'll be okay. And you're right. That's right. The whole defensive line really hasn't shown up recently. I don't know if it was against a good Pittsburgh offensive line, but the pass rush just wasn't there. I don't know if it was they were stopping Justin Houston. They were clearly stopping Defoe as well. But we need to make sure the pass rush shows up a lot today. I'm not sure if it's Gardner Minshew starting, or I'm not sure if it's Mike Glennon. Someone will have to refresh my memory. But I think we should be okay against this offensive line. We'll just have to make sure we show up. And against Houston, DeForest Buckner had 3 sacks. So who knows what we're going to do? It's like we're so up and down. This team is so up and down sometimes. Like just like the first half and second half against Pittsburgh, we just don't show up sometimes, and it's just kind of ridiculous. I don't know if it's more of we overhype ourselves. Like we're such a fast team and we're such an amped up team that some teams will try to play against that. They'll try to counter our flow. They'll try to do everything like that, and so we'll have to wait and see. And here we go. Okay. So today it's actually going to be Glennon. That makes me feel a little better. I mean, clearly, we let Gardner Minshew broke the completion percentage on the game in week 1. He was 19 for 20, right? Or 19 for 19, something like that. And so it's going to be crazy if we let that happen with Mike Glennon. So hopefully we'll be okay. Is Eason active? I don't have the inactive list yet, but someone mentioned beforehand they would just like to see Eason come in the fourth quarter if we have a big lead, but he probably won't be active knowing that actually. So it'll probably be Jacoby coming in. We'll probably run some read options with Jacoby, just some nice little I like the RPOs that we have with Jacoby as well because he can actually run the ball if he needs to as well. There was one third down, I think it was against the Titans, where it was like a 3rd and 2. It was a really nice RPO, really nice design, but the Titans had it covered. Jack Doyle was in the flat, and one of their outside linebackers was able to actually, instead of blitzing, he watched Jacoby and he made sure he ran with Jack Doyle, and Jacoby just was able to fake a little bit of a throw and get just enough room for a third down, for the first down. So we'll have to wait and see. I would like Jacoby as well, seeing out there, but Eason, he's probably not going to be active. So it looks like Eason is not active. So there we go. That's our answer. But that would be fun to watch Eason blow up a Jaguar secondary in the fourth quarter. Do you think Desmond Patman gets some reps with Marcus Johnson cut? Maybe. Was he cut or was he just demoted to the practice squad because he's hurt? I think that's what it was. Either way, I guess he's not playing. But I would love to see Patman get in there as well. I would love to see a lot of our young guys get in there. By the way, yeah, keep mentioning all the young guys that you want to try and see. If we get up with Jacksonville, if we get up to a big lead and we want to rest some of our starters for the playoffs, if these games go the way we want them, who do you guys want to see play out and play well? Me personally, Desmond Patton's one of them. I would also love to see Isaiah Rodgers play a lot. I would love to see what he could do out there at corner. Obviously, Rock is out. Obviously, Kari's out as well. So I want to see some of our younger safeties we don't really have any more younger safeties, but our younger corners come out there and play. I'd like to see Tavon Wilson play well today. I know he's an older veteran, but I'd love to see him play well at safety today as well. Here we go. DeMichael Harris. If we have DeMichael Harris out there today too, I have been talking about DeMichael Harris so much, it might be a name bias, but DeMichael Harris is one of my favorite players that we have out there just because I just love his ability and I love how quick he is and how fast and streaky he is. The plays that he's only had, 4 or 5 different plays where he's made on some jet sweeps. But then there was one specific play against the Titans, I think, maybe it was the Packers, where Phillip just threw it up to DeMichael. Phillip had enough trust in practice with DeMichael to go ahead and just do that. And he went up there against one of their big safeties and just snagged it. And it was a great play. It was a great third down catch. And so I would love to see what DeMichael Harris can do as well. Yeah, you guys are right. I do like Tavon Wilson, obviously, but you're right. George Odom should probably play safety over him. George Odom, we know in the Kansas City game last year, he caused that fumble against LaShawn McCoy. George Odom should have been a Pro Bowler for the special teams. So he should – you're right. I would love to see George Odom out there as well. He's a great, great player, and he plays super hard. Let me see this one. They had another one. Why do you think we aren't using more like Cox really anymore? It's just – I think it's more just game script. I think it's more just like Phillip has a lot more trust in his receivers than he did at the beginning of the year, or I think just mentally and physically, like with muscle memory and just knowing where your guys are and all the chemistry. I think he had a lot more with Mo. And he had a lot more with that second tight end specifically spot. And then Trey Burton, obviously, was hurt at the beginning of the year. So Mo was in a little bit more of our personnel instead of just being more of a blocking tight end, which, whenever he's out there, he's not necessarily blocking anymore. We'll just throw him a screen or two, and he's always getting the first down. So Mo's great. You're right. I think we should throw him the ball more. I think it's more just game script, and it's also just an attribute to the depth that we have. It's an attribute to the guys that we have built around us and all the weapons that we secretly have. It's like Dan Orlovsky, I think, said it best. He was like, "Oh, you got this guy. Oh, yeah, you got to worry about. Oh, crap. Now you got this guy over here." It's no one that's like It's not a Julio Jones. It's not like a Devontae Adams, or it's not a Derrick Henry, but like all of our guys are just like so good at the same time to where like Jonathan Taylor could become someone like a Derrick Henry, but we even have Nyheim Hines in the backfield as well to be able to get out there, and we just have so much depth and so many good weapons that like we just sometimes we don't really need them, and that's not in a bad way. That's not in a bad way at all. We need them to block out there. We need them as anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see, but it's just a tribute to our depth. Let me see here. I love Jack Doyle, but I think it's time for him to be done. Man, I hope not. I hope not at all. I would love to keep Jack Doyle no matter the cost. I mean, I know sometimes he gets a little injured, but Jack Doyle is one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. He does so many different versatile things for us. Like there are so many blocks on the edges that he has where Jonathan Taylor will just be able to, just because of that one block with Doyle, he's able to just get 5 or 6 extra yards. And it's just, I love Jack Doyle. I love all 3 of our tight ends. I don't want to lose anyone. I don't want to lose anyone. I don't want to lose TY. I don't want to lose Costanzo. Unfortunately, we might though because of his injury. I don't want to lose Doyle. I don't want to lose any of the guys. I don't want to lose Marlon Mack. I want to keep Marlon Mack too. Like I understand we obviously people deserve to go get their money if they want to go get their money, if they want to get paid from someone because they deserve it. But I want everyone. I just love this team. I want everyone. Let's see here. Seth, you're giving me all the best talking points right now. I want Pitt to have a big day. I do too. I know he's had his concussion protocol go well, so he should be active. He should be able to get going. But I would love to see him have a big day today. I'd love to see him get a touchdown, maybe a big play to maybe maybe a big red zone play that we've all been talking about. It's been 16 weeks now. Let's try to throw it to Michael Pittman in the red zone. That would be fun. But we'll have to wait and see. I would love to get him going. Who would you prefer we go after in the offseason, Wentz or Stafford? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We people were all saying that Philip was coming because of Frank Reich's relationship with him, and I've loved it. I think Philip has done everything that I thought he could and more. He's been great. He's old. He can't run. And he will force the ball sometimes into situations where we just don't need that right now, which we all saw literally all of that in Pittsburgh. We literally saw all of that. We saw all the great in Philip. We saw all the bad in Philip. I would rather, out of those two, have Matthew Stafford. Carson Wentz just looks like a bumbling fool. No offense to you, Carson, but you look like a bumbling fool this year. It was absolutely atrocious, and I don't think Frank Reich can fix that. However, Frank Reich was partially part of the reason why he was having an MVP season that year until he got hurt. So I don't know. I think I'd rather have Stafford because of Stafford's experience and because have you seen some of his no-look throws that he's been doing? Stafford's incredible. He's got an incredible arm, better than Phillips' arm, and he can at least run a little bit and improvise a little bit. But I just want our guy. I don't want to sign another veteran for a year or maybe Carson for 2. I just want our guy, and I do hope that is Eason. I know it might not be. I get it, but I would also love to trade up for Trey Lance. I would also love to trade up for Zach Wilson, the BYU guy. I mean, heck, the Jets actually put out today. They told Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter tweeted, the Jets are trying to make a big trade, either for the number 2 pick or for Sam Darnold to someone who's going to it's going to be a huge offseason trade. Go for Sam Darnold. I would, out of all the people I just mentioned, let's go get Sam Darnold. So out of those 2 specifically, I would probably want Matthew Stafford. However, I just want our guy. I'm selfish. I want a good point. Let's draft the stud. We'll see. What was this one? Yeah, so Mr. Fulton. So if we beat Jacksonville, and then also if one of 4 games goes our way, we need the Bengals to win, the Bills to win, the Steelers to win, and or the Texans to win. So we need all 4, one of those 4 to go our way, and we also need to win. So yes, that's the way we get in there. Darnold, hell no. Why do you think Darnold, hell no? I personally think Darnold is really good, but you're right. You guys are right. We want our own guy, but I think Darnold is like one of those guys that just got screwed by the system he was in, and that could be a transcendent to my point. I could be proven wrong about the point of getting our own guy if we get Sam Darnold. That's just my personal thing. But you're thinking Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask, I don't know about that last performance. He didn't have his receivers, he didn't have his starting guys, but we'll have to wait and see. A lot of QB talk. Let's get into some TY talk. Do you think TY will resign? Or get re-signed? Or are you like saying he'll resign? Okay, I think you meant. Do you think TY will re-sign with us? My bad. Yes, I think he will get re-signed. I think maybe for a one-year prove-it deal, maybe for a 2-year prove-it deal. But I think 100% with the way he's been playing at the end of at the end of the season, he hasn't gotten as hurt as he normally does, which I attribute that to Frank Reich being smart about using him throughout the year. I think he had to like wait until TY was like ready to go because naturally or usually, whenever this time of year comes around, TY's hurt. Like he's not out there. He's got an ankle problem. He's got something going on with his legs. And this year he's been fine. He's been healthy. And I think that attributes to, we were trying to run the ball maybe a little bit more, which we hadn't run like last year. But we were trying to get it to our tight ends. We were trying to get it to more people. Like Zach Pascal specifically has been probably – we don't talk about Zach Pascal enough. I think as a whole, the Colts – Twitter, Colts fandom, we don't talk about Zach Pascal nearly enough. That guy is a warrior. That guy is a playmaker, and he does whatever you ask. He literally, no problem, coach. You want me to go get 100 kids out of a burning building? Yeah, no problem. Let me do it with I'll just put a smile on my face, do a little dance. He's so good, and so I just love everything about Zach Pascal, and we don't talk about him enough. But yes, I think we do re-sign TY because the guys that we have and in the locker room, I mean, TY is such a huge part of our locker room as well. I mean, you can see it whenever the Colts social media will like let people out and they'll do all the videos of, before practice when they go up and say what's up to it. TY's always smiling so big. He's always just screaming and excited to do everything. And so I absolutely love TY. I hope we keep him. Let's keep moving on. Guys, by the way, I'm not Cody. I'm Michael, by the way. I should have my name under there. But Cody's the main host, of course. I'm just one of the co-hosts who does the pregame show usually. I also will do sometimes, they'll have me on for different, reactions to different things or different, questions, a Q&A, different thing. For the offseason, we're obviously going to have a lot of different things that we're going to do. But right now, we're not worried about the offseason because there is no offseason yet. So we'll see. But don't worry. But yeah, but my New Year's resolution is just to stop being so anxious. It's to go to therapy. Which you guys actually, I am going, so I highly recommend. But no, my New Year's resolution is to get a Super Bowl. That's 100%. Let's also see here. Yep, like I mentioned, Zach Pascal, we all don't talk about him enough. We need to I hope everyone just understands the value that he has, and I hope we re-sign him to a good deal. He's been doing nothing but prove that he's been so valuable to us and why we have him as our number 2 guy, which sometimes he ends up being our number 1 guy. I love Michael Pittman. I love the prospect and his potential. I think we need to make sure we keep TY as well to, make Pittman be that guy and grow him into what he could be as well. But why can't Zach Pascal be our number 1 guy? Why can't he just keep going I just love him. I love him so much. All right, let's see what else you guys got. You guys are talking about trades here. Oh my goodness. Let me see. If we traded for the second round pick, if we traded for the second pick, we will have a really good running and throwing quarterback. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if we traded for the second pick, we could, but I don't know who we'd give up for that. Yeah, when you guys are talking about trading up in this situation, who are we going to give up? I know if we're talking about if you're trading for Sam Darnold, if you're trading for someone else like that, yeah, you need to talk about for any of these trades, yeah, we need to talk about who we're going to give up. I can't give up Quentin, can't give up. I don't know, man. I don't know who we give up, so we'll have to wait and see. Unless we can just get our own guy again. Let me see here. Do I think Phillip Rivers is coming back? I think it depends on what happens today. I think it very much depends on what's going on today. Phillip did say, it has crossed his mind if, we're not in the playoffs, It could be the last day for him, last year for him. I think this turf toe is actually hurting him a lot more than he thought. And I think this turf toe is actually getting to him a lot more too, because he probably hears it. He probably hears people saying he can't run, he's too old, he's doing all this. I mean, he's proving them wrong every game by showing how well he can still throw the ball. I mean, he already tied Dan Marino for the 5th most touchdowns of all time. So he's a great player, and he's still throwing the ball so well. Like that deep ball to Pascal against Pittsburgh was incredible. Which, by the way, if you played football at all in any time, like in high school, middle school, college, whatever you did, that blitz pickup by Jonathan Taylor on that one play action bomb to Zach Pascal was a thing of beauty. It was unbelievable. I think Baldy had a breakdown on that one specific play. So that was awesome. But I think Phillip, if we get to the playoffs and we maybe get a good run going and we maybe get to the Super Bowl or maybe don't and get kind of close, I think he will come back for maybe one more year. But if we don't, I think he might be done, which I don't blame the guy. I don't blame him at all. So we'll have to wait and see. It really does depend on what happens today. Let me see here. He thought he was – He was fairly nimble, yeah, compared to what he normally is. Yeah, and I guess it's still maybe he's getting a little bit better with that turf toe, but still not nearly enough. Just not nearly enough. Oh, so I do want to talk about this too. Julian Blackmon is a wonderful, wonderful player. I think he should be considered for Defensive Rookie of the Year. However, his past couple of games, he had a huge missed tackle against Foster Moreau, the backup tight end against Oakland. It's not his fault entirely. He definitely expected Kenny to break it up or maybe to hit him one way, and Julian just came in at just a little bit of a bad angle. That's nothing against Julian. It's one bad play to his many, many good ones. But I don't necessarily think he would be Defensive Rookie of the Year anymore. It's not that he hasn't had the stats. It's not that he hasn't had the game-changing plays. It's just that I think, one, yes, because of the media. I think Chase Young is definitely more biased towards the media because of Washington. I just don't know if Julian – I don't know if he's – I'm going to answer this question. I don't know if today he makes another game-winning interception, he makes another crazy fumble, anything like that, like he did against the Packers. I think yes. He could be. But what I'm basing it off of is what most people in the media, not in the media, but most people are going to see around the country. We're obviously biased. We're obviously only really watching the Colts games. If you've seen Chase Young, man, Chase Young is unbelievable. Mr. Sterling. He's dominated the past 2 weeks. That's very true. And Jeremy Chin has also been absolutely incredible. However, I don't think Jeremy Chin will have the media bias that Chase Young will have either, because I live in Charlotte. I know that Carolina gets crapped on by the media as well. So I think it's going to lean towards Chase Young depending on what happens, especially if he helps them win the NFC East. So we'll see. But I would love to see Julian. But I think if he gets an interception, maybe a fumble, something like that, he's definitely in the talk. He's definitely in the running, no question. But we'll have to wait and see. Jeremy Chin is not trash, but I think Jeremy Chin is it. I think Jeremy Chin is very good, actually. And yeah, so Ronaldus, I wanted to make sure I mentioned this one. You could trade Phillip Rivers for the first round pick. No. Phillip Rivers is probably only worth like a fifth rounder. I'm third, maybe. It's because he's old. It's because he's old. It's not anything against his ability. If you're talking about draft stock, you're talking about drafting someone, he is not worth a first-round pick. No question. Someone like DeForest Buckner, who you're going to sign on for 5 more years and who's going to get better and better every year like he did this year. That's who you trade for a first-round pick. You don't go get Phillip Rivers for a first-round pick. Let me see. Do you think JT will get Offensive Rookie of the Year? No. I think JT does deserve some of the running. I think he deserves to be in the talks of being one of the best rookies in the year, no question. But that's got to be Justin Jefferson. I mean, Justin Herbert too. Like Justin Herbert and Justin Jefferson, the Justins, were so good this year. I don't think there's any chance Jonathan Taylor has it. I mean, he might beat out James Robinson for the rookie rushing leader, but I think Justin Herbert or Justin Jefferson have that in bag. That's mean. Phillip is not worth a Washington. He's worth a lot more than that. How many turnovers will the D have today? Now, it is Mike Glennon playing, if you guys have told me correctly. James Robinson's also out, and DJ Chark is out. So hopefully, with who we have out as well, we obviously have some guys who are questionable who could be out too, like Defoe and Grover. But with the guys that we still have in there today, and we're obviously playing win and you're in, well, not winning. We'll see what happens with the games, but we have to win no matter what. So win is the first priority. With the guys we got in there, I would expect 3. I could see actually, and it's going to be a little weird. I think it's going to be 2 fumbles and one pick. I think Darius Leonard's going to pop one out like he always does. He's going to make the maniac play. He's going to go for being all-pro. He's going to be like, hey, I need to make sure I'm on the all-pro too again. He was like, he's not satisfied. He wasn't on it two times in a row. So he needs to make sure he's back on the first team all-pro, which I think he always will be. And then I also think maybe Julian, like we talked about, will force a fumble as well. And I would just love to see another icing on the cake for Kenny Moore to get another pick. Anytime Kenny Moore gets a pick, I get so excited. I love it when he does the dance. I love how excited he gets, and I love how he's just a ball of energy, like a lightning in a bottle, like everyone talks about. He's just so quick, so fast, and everything he does, it just makes me so happy. I specifically was looking for, when I went to Lucas Oil, I wanted to buy a jersey, obviously, right? And I ended up buying a stitched in TY blue that I'm probably going to wear for the playoffs if we make the playoffs. Right now, I gotta wear my boy. Gotta wear Darius today. But I was looking specifically for Kenny Moore, and I couldn't find one because I think it was already out of stock because everyone already got one. So that's what I was really hoping for. But we will see. We'll see. I think 3 turnovers today, though. I'd put up 2. 3 turnovers today. Let me see here. MPJ is in. I think MPJ is in. We'll have to wait and see. He's just listed as questionable right now because of his concussion, but I think signs are good. I think they did mention that he was out of protocol as well. It's just in case, something happens, like a bad turn, but we should be okay. I think next year we'll actually be Super Bowl contenders if we add some pieces in the draft. I think we're Super Bowl contenders right now. That's just how I feel. I think we can take this team. I think we can beat anyone. We beat the Packers. We beat the Titans. We should have beat the Steelers. We're not going to talk about the refs. Not going to talk about the collapse in that JT. He only had 2 touches. But we are going to think that we are Super Bowl contenders right now. No question. Alicia is the best. He is the best. No question. Darius Leonard will always be the best. He was voted, actually, I think, the #1 inside linebacker for Pro Bowl votes, which, I mean, if you guys are thinking in the AFC, who are you guys thinking, like, inside linebacker, middle linebacker? Like, okay, like for instance, if I'm thinking NFC wide receivers for Pro Bowl voting specifically, not like for who's actually being the best, but for, the general bias of a non-crazy fan, of someone who doesn't necessarily know a lot about the NFL, you'd probably think Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, right? You think of the top guys, even though Devontae's clearly been a lot better than Julio this year, and Julio's had a lot less stats than someone like Justin Jefferson, who did obviously make it or everything like that. But for inside linebackers, I always think Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly's retired, obviously, but I keep thinking Luke Kuechly. So you know what I mean? Like, there's always those 2 that like just pop in your head, who are the 2 Pro Bowlers. And now, when I'm thinking specifically for the AFC, even specifically for the NFL now, I'm thinking Bobby Wagner, Darius Leonard. And I think and I love seeing that everyone else outside of Colts fandom, outside of Indiana, outside of being a Colts fan, also agrees. They think inside linebacker Pro Bowler, Darius Leonard. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Darius Leonard and then Bobby Wagner. Like, I love how everyone's thinking that as well, because they know and have seen how dang good he is. Ever since Peyton, we don't really get that much exposure anymore. With luck, we had some, but ever since Peyton, we never really have as much as we have. And having that one guy who pops out like that, now we technically have 3 who pop out like that on each phase of our defense with Defoe, Darius, and Kenny. But it's just great. It's just absolutely great. All right, let's see here. I think you're underestimating Wentz. Yeah, he's had a rough year, but he's proven he can carry a team of scrubs. Yes, I agree, and he did have Frank Reich's help during that. with his injury history as well, and just with the way that he's just – there's just something about him. There's just something about him that just tells me that we just shouldn't invest in him because his injury history, he decides to go down every time he slides or every time he goes down and tries to get hit, it just looks like he's asking for an injury. It just some of the decisions he's made too just looks bad. And there's specific. It's not necessarily like his decision making, like who he's throwing the ball to. It's how he threw the ball. Like there was Boston Scott was out for a flat route where the corner or the linebacker, whoever was covering the flats, was not really out. He was maybe 15 yards deep, and it was like a 3rd and 5, whatever it was. Carson Wentz, instead of just zipping it to him, maybe like just trying to get over the defenders or anything like that. Maybe someone's hand was in the way. I understand. The D linemen are huge. But Carson, instead of just trying to zip it to him and maybe just do a little bit of a touch, decides to moonball it out to Boston Scott, who just then has to just wait for the ball to get to him. And the corner or the linebacker, whoever's coming to the flat, it was so easy for him to get there, and it was picked off. And it was like, why would you not just zip the ball to him? Why would you not just he just made some stupid decisions, and I don't trust him. I just don't trust him. That's all. Oh, this is what we talked about too. We have like a little group chat for BTJ, or a little Colts Nation group chat on Twitter. I was like, so is anyone cool if we get Dak instead? Because someone was asking about Carson, someone was asking about Stafford. That's when Bleacher Report was bringing out Stafford rumors and everything like that. I was like, what if we get Dak? And that's a pipe dream. I think, no question, Dallas is going to re-sign him. I think his injury actually, honestly, helped him out more than anything else, because once he went down, Dallas was clearly not ever really real contenders. But once he went down, then everyone was like, oh, okay, so this team was nothing without Dak. And so he has such a great appeal, and he's such a good guy, too, with what he's doing with the mental health initiative that he has. And everything that he's done for Dallas too, I think there's no question he's going to re-sign with Dallas. He'll be fine. 100% chance. 100% chance he stays. It might have been that pick that I talked about, Wentz. It might have been, but I'm not really sure. Yeah. This is what I'm mentioning. He has awful processing, holds the ball too long. It's just no. I hope you're not talking to me. No, I would not want Wentz as a QB. All right. I know that there was someone mentioned before. There's a couple of chats up here that talked about the Bills and actives. If you guys could show me where that is, or talk about the Bills and actives again, I really want to see that, because that would be incredible. Let me see here, because I really want to make sure that they're having their starters. You think it's likely though? I mean, do you think it's likely just because of Frank's, past with him? Do you think it's likely just because of what everyone's saying now? It's just because the media has been saying it. I'm just not really sure. I don't know if Frank really wants him though. I don't know. Because when Frank was asked about Phillip in the past, he was like, yeah, Phillip's a great guy. I loved working with Phillip. It was everything like that, blah, 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 blah. It was what he normally talks about and how he normally talks in the media. But when he was asked about, Rich Eisen actually asked Frank about it on the Rich Eisen show. And Frank was like, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Colts. I want to talk about right here, right now. And so it could have been just because he's in the middle of the season. It could have just been because he just doesn't want him. So who knows? Oh, here's a good question. What jersey should I get from the pro shop today? So I got that stitched in TY jersey. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I highly recommend that if you want to go with a stitched in. But man, I mentioned beforehand, if they got a Kenny Moore jersey, go for the Kenny Moore. I was looking so much because I love the fact that my jerseys, I haven't had an actual receiver since I think Marvin Harrison. This is the first time I've gotten an offensive weapon since Marvin Harrison. Or since someone like that. It was when it was like Puma making the jerseys, because I would always, for some reason, I got Andrew Luck, of course. I had Luck for since 2012 until I still have it. So I've had Andrew Luck for a while, and that was my main guy. And then once we drafted Darius, I had to get Darius, and now I've just been on a spree of wanting like defense and wanting like just integral parts that aren't like weapons, that normal people will get. So I got Darius, I have Quentin Nelson. I really wanted DeForest Buckner, but I really wanted it sewn in, so I had to go with TY. But my next one is going to be DeForest or Kenny. Like, so I say go Kenny. Yeah, which by the way, yes, they have Buckner. Let me see here. All right, probably keeping Rivers. You guys are just talking more QB stuff, man. I don't know if I want to talk about more QB stuff. I just hope that we can actually beat Jacksonville today. And I know it sucks to me that like I can't say that with more confidence, because like we have such a tough time with Jacksonville. I don't know what it is. I don't know if horses are afraid of Jaguars. I don't know if we just can't stand those ugly uniforms that they have, which they're okay now. But do you guys remember those gold and black helmets? Those were terrible. Those were the worst helmets I've ever seen. So I don't know what it is about them. Let's see here. Oh, hold the phone. Just been confirmed on NFL Network that Buffalo is playing all their starters. Do we know how long they're playing them for? That is a big development. Does anyone else seen anything else? I want to see if we've been able to get this right. We need to make sure that Buffalo is playing their starters for a very long time. We'll get back to it, but I want to keep hearing different reports. I could check Twitter right now, but I just don't want to. What was your reaction when we drafted Darius in the second round? Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I was fine with it. I thought getting a guy from, obviously, everyone's first reaction was, a guy from South Carolina State, or not even in like the BCS or what. College football has so many different things, but he's not even in like the main league. Like, what are you guys doing? So I was like, I was like a little worried, but at the same time, I also knew that Chris Ballard wanted to get integral pieces. I knew that he wanted to get guys that were part of our system that he needed to build. He wanted to build from the inside out. Like he always talked about. He was like, that's why we got Quentin first. And then we got Darius, and then why we got Braden. He wanted to make sure we had some integral core guys on the offensive line and then the defensive front, which I would consider the linebackers being the front sometimes. So I was okay with it. I wasn't as pissed off as some people were. I wasn't Bleacher Report freaking out that this was the worst pick ever. When I saw that, I was a little worried. No question, I was a little worried, but it was fine. I was excited about it. Obviously, he turned into the rookie of the year, and he's my favorite player on the defense, and he's got the most energy and the most juice I've ever seen. So I love it now. But at the time, I was just like, oh, okay, let's see what happens. Like I think it was Ballard's. I mean, clearly, we all know how well that draft turned out to be with 2 first-team All-Pros. So it's fine. Yeah, I wasn't. No, not saying Power 5. I think it was whatever. South Carolina State's in the FBS or FCS or whatever it is. They're in the lower one. That's why people were a little worried. Oh, well. Let me see here. Okay, so these guys are the ones that are out. Okay. So obviously Jake Fromm is their backup QB. Cole Beasley's a little hurt. Tre'Davious White, I think, is also hurt, but Tre'Davious White's a big part of that corner of that secondary. Jerry Hughes also is a pretty big part of that defensive front for the Bills. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to be the biggest Bills fan ever. Yeah, Frank Reich too. We obviously all know that Frank Reich has a little history with the Bills. That's why he had so much history with Chad Kelly, or with Chad Kelly's dad, Jim, which is why we wanted to sign him a lot. I genuinely do think that was just Frank being it's like, I'll help you out, Jim. Come on, Chad. But Chad's a good guy anyways. I love Chad Kelly. Despite whatever he did. Chad, he's just a fun person to talk about. But we are going to be big Bills fans here. We're going to have to root for him as hard as we can. What sucks about it, too, is that if it didn't matter that we had them to lose to get into the playoffs, I would love to see Miami in there. I'd love to see Brian Flores in there. I think Brian Flores is a wonderful coach. I personally think he's coach of the year. That's if I had the vote, which I don't have the vote. No one cares about me. I would 100% vote for either Brian Flores, Kevin Stefanski, or Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera obviously biased towards the cancer stuff, but he could get the dude, blow my nose, please. I'm sorry. I'm sick, apparently. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry about that. Our favorite Texans fan is here, and we have a parting gift for y'all. We will beat Tennessee. H-Town Slim, man, I would be so thankful for you guys. You guys almost beat us twice. Why not? JJ Watt even mentioned it last week. They're going out there to play for the Fins. They're going out there to play for it's their job, you know. They're supposed to go out there and give it 110% every week. And you guys got Deshaun Watson. Like, go for it. Be mad that you couldn't beat us this year. That's not a backhanded compliment. Just be mad. Just be mad. Oh well. We will destroy the Dolphins. Are we playing? Are you a Bills fan now, FaZe Waterhose? If we played them, I got you. If you played them, it would be tough. That defense is very exotic. I think he changes up that defense a lot of times. He tries to make it look and confusing a lot, but we'll see. And if one of all the other teams lose, like, are you talking about if like the Titans, Ravens, Browns, and the Dolphins lose? If that happens, I think we get the 4 seed. Because if the Titans lose and we win, then we're obviously going to be the division winners. So we would get the 4 seed. If the Steelers lose, though, I think that might drop them a little bit. We could possibly, due to some tiebreakers or different things like that. Actually, I don't know, because the Steelers have the tiebreaker. I still think we would be a 4th, but there's a possibility we could be 3rd. However, that only happens if all those teams lose and we win. So, hold on. What happens if the Bills win? So if the Bills win and we win, we're in the playoffs. Because we need to have the Dolphins lose, the Browns lose, and the Ravens to lose today. Obviously, the Titans as well. But if we want a wild card spot, we need one of those 3 teams to lose, as long as us getting the win. All right. Kind of optimistic about Texans. The only reason why I'm not as optimistic about the Texans as I could be or should be is because the Titans just lost a tough game on Monday. Was it Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football? I think it was Sunday night. And they got destroyed by the Packers. I know it was out in the snow. I know it was a little difficult with everything going on. And I think the refs were a little biased as well towards the Packers, which it happens. We are victims of it. It's always the main teams. It's always the teams that have been established for the longest time. And I know that people are biased and mad about us because we left Baltimore, because the Irsay's left Baltimore. So that's neither here nor there. Just people hate us for it. But it wasn't my fault. I was born in 96. I did nothing to you. You monsters. Anyways, I hate the refs. All right. Let me see here. But yes, I am. The reason why I'm not is because the Titans, they came off a really bad loss, and they're going to be pissed off. They know that they win, they get the division. Like Vrabel, if you guys don't think that Vrabel's hyping them up so much right now, that it's going to be tough. It's going to be a very tough game, and I hope the Texans come out swinging. I'm rooting for the Texans harder than I've ever rooted for the Texans before. But the Titans are going to come out swinging, so we'll have to wait and see. Let me see here. All right, sorry, I just got a little bit of a message. I want to make sure I don't get and miss anything from the Colts. Don't miss anything from any sort of reactives. If we lose Phillip, would you want to take a rookie QB or draft or trade for a vet? We did talk about earlier how the one guy I would really want to trade for if we had to trade for another veteran, which I would consider kind of a veteran now, is Sam Darnold. I don't want Wentz. I don't want Stafford. I would rather keep our guys right now instead of getting trading for someone else. But Sam Darnold would be the only exception for me. I mean, unless Patrick Mahomes wants to come over here, I would. Yeah, I think we should trade for Patrick Mahomes. I think that there's no reason why they'd say no. We'll give them $100 under the table, and hey, Patrick, come on over. There's plenty of ketchup in Indy. God, that would be a dream. Anyways. And speaking of that, you think we make a trade for the Wentz this offseason? I personally, if I was in charge, no. I do not want Carson Wentz. I do not want him whatsoever. And I hope if we do trade for him, which I think we probably will do, if Phillip retires, I think we probably will trade for him if Phillip retires. Yeah, that's probably most likely what's going to happen. That's going to be a whole another offseason video that we're going to have to talk about, where I'm just going to go on a rant where I'm like, just please, God, and I'm going to hold up like a couple of signs for Chris Ballard and for Frank, like, don't draft Carson, just like an hour-long video of just don't draft Carson, and we're all going to just join together and protest or trade for Carson. Don't trade for Carson. The reason why is because if we don't have Phillip anymore, I just want to draft our own guy, or even Jacob Eason. I'd love to see Jacob Eason compete. I'd love to see Jacoby Brissett compete for it. I don't see why not Jacoby? I know he did not do well last year, and I think it partially was because he was injured, but why don't we give him a chance at least to compete for that job? If he gets the backup, he'll be one of the best backups in the league again, and I'm cool with him being our backup. I am cool with him being in our locker room. But if Phillip does leave, I'd rather just draft someone else, and which, speaking of, no, there is no chance we get Justin Fields. After his performance against Clemson, even if he just craps the bed in the college football playoff, no chance. He's either going one or two. I mean, you can't. I understand he's had his miscues, especially against Indiana, especially against I think it was I can't remember who else it was, but I know against Indiana he did not have the best game. But I mean, guys, he looks so good. His potential is incredible. And so even after playing 6 games, they came out and beat the crap out of Clemson. Like, they beat the crap out of Clemson. No one's beaten the crap out of Clemson in like 15 years. I know Alabama did in a national championship game, but you know what I mean. Just Justin Fields is not going to be anywhere near what we're going to be able to get unless we trade up for that number 2 pick. But like I said, the only guys that we have on our team that are valuable for a first-round pick are guys that we cannot give up. Are Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, Quentin Nelson, Braden Smith. I do not want to give those guys up. So I'd rather just draft someone else. So we'll see. Are you guys still talking about Wentz? Just can we talk about the playoff implications instead of Carson Wentz? I know Carson Wentz is a very much a hot commodity at the moment, but I really just hope we don't get him. Morrow, you're giving me some great stuff. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Dolphins have made it. Even if they lose, they'll still get a top 3 pick. Oh, wait, that's right. That's true because they have the Texans pick, don't they? Yeah, so that's why we really need the Texans to win so the Dolphins can't get a better pick. I'm good with that. All right. Let's see here. I just keep seeing so many different things about Carson Wentz. So, therefore, we're only going to have this for about 15 more minutes. Thank you to the 80 of you that are in here. I appreciate you guys talking to me. Appreciate you guys doing this pregame with me. We're going to have a lot more fun with this, next time we do it and every time that we get a chance. Next time, I'm also going to make sure I don't sleep with my cat because, good Lord, my eyes have been killing me today. But that's also why I'm probably a little stuffy. But I want to know you guys' prediction. What is the game prediction today? What's the score prediction? And what is the breakout player of the game? Not the player of the game, but give me like a breakout. Like who out of nowhere is going to pop off? Like not like a Jonathan Taylor. We know he's going to do well. Not Phillip Rivers. We know he's going to throw the ball well. But who's the one guy that you guys are thinking that, could just be out of nowhere explode? Me personally, it's DeMichael Harris. It'll always be DeMichael Harris unless he's not on the practice squad right now. How many touchdowns do you think MPJ is going to get? I love your profile picture too. You're clearly a big MPJ fan. I personally think he's going to get 1 today. I think they have to look for him in the red zone today. I don't see why not. I mean, dude, he's such a big body. If Phillip gets him one-on-one, I hope to God he's going to throw it to him in the red zone. I'd love to see him get 1. I'd love to see him get 2, but I think he might have 1 today. There is this one I actually wanted to show for Trenton. Yes, I 100% agree. It would actually be 11-5, but this just exactly shows how good the AFC is. We can still not make the playoffs and be 11-5. We'll be I thought in 2018 we were able to be in part of one of the coolest records ever. We were one of 3 teams in NFL history to go 1-5, to start the season 1-5, and to end 10-6 and to make the playoffs. And if our nightmare scenario does happen today, where all 4 of those teams win, and we either lose or we win, and we win, actually. If we win and all the teams that we need to lose don't lose, we would be 11-5 and be the first team since like 1960, one of only 3, just like the other 2018 record, to go 11-5 and miss the playoffs. It's a possibility. It sucks, and we have to rely on other people today. But, this is the NFL. We've seen crazier things. We'll be able to be okay. I know that we just have to win against Jacksonville, and that's all we should care about right now. As our team, as fans, we're going to worry about and be anxious at 1 o'clock. That's why we're doing this early. But as a team, and our team itself, hopefully, is just worried about Jacksonville. Even though I know there are reports of Philip out watching the games as well beforehand. Philip's going to do whatever Philip wants to do. Whatever. All right, let's get into some different predictions. 44-13 Colts. MPJ is the breakout. I'm seeing so many MPJs. MPJ. There's another one I just missed. Hold on. Where is it? You got a lot of predictions, you guys. MPJ. Oh, so many MPJ. Like 35-17. MPJ. Oh, I like this one. 17-27 with Xavier Rhodes being the player of the game. Now, I'm assuming that's 17-27 Colts. I would love to see Xavier Rhodes come out and get a pick or two. Come out and just do another pick 6 or something like that. I would just love to see our defense make a lot of points today. Like, not make Phillip Rivers, not make JT run too much, or, we don't want to obviously burn out JT or anything like that, or even Naheem. So, I want him to get that record. I want him to get to 1,000 yards rushing. But I would love to see the defense score some points too. Colts 0, Jags 30. That's a great prediction, man. You didn't have the breakout player of the game though, so I need you to. Great prediction, just awesome. Yeah, you're so wrong. Zach Pascal breakout player of the game, score 34-7. Wow, that's a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Jacksonville's going to have a lot to play for today. I think they might score some points, just like what Colton said. They're not going to get to 30, but they're going to score some points. So I'm not going to totally disavow what he said, even though he's wrong. Zach Pascal, though, is the breakout player of the game. He's been incredible the past 2 weeks. Why not? He's had like 3 or 4 touchdowns the past 2 games. Yeah, he's been incredible. Jacksonville 30, Indy 27. H-Town Slim, we need you though. H-Town Slim, we need Houston. What are you doing? Oh, just making me upset now. Come on, man. Hey, if that's your prediction, though, that's your prediction, and it could happen. If you're right, I'll Venmo you. That's a good prediction. 35-14 Colts and MPJ. Every single one of you guys that are for Colts fans right now are just saying MPJ. We all just want our guy to go ham. We want our rookie to go ham, and I get it. I'm all for it. Let's see here, 17-31 Colts. It all seems about kind of similar. We all think we're all going to score about in the 30 range. Me personally, I think it's going to be about in the 30 range as well. I'll give my final prediction in a little bit, right before I get off. But I think we might score in the 30 range if our defense has a pick 6 or has a scoop and score, or maybe even a special teams touchdown, something like that. I think that would be good. Oh, I like this one. I love this. Bobby Okereke's been one of the most consistent players that we've had all year. He's been absolutely incredible in pass coverage. He's been absolutely just a run stuffer when he needs to be. Guy can hit as hard as Kenny can. I mean, all of our guys can just hit super hard. Julian, Kari, I know Kari's out, but Julian, Kari, even Rock can nail people. Xavier Rhodes just will crush people on the inside when they're slanting in. And so I love how all of our guys can tackle. I'm not worried about any of them missing a tackle. So that's always great. So I would love to see Bobby do that as well. Only problem is Buffalo's cold this time of year. Are you talking about just that is a problem. Buffalo's very cold this year. Colts 28-17. Kamoko, I know you meant to say Toure. He just hasn't really done – like, it's not necessarily that he hasn't done enough. It's just that he's not going to be out there as much to get 2 sacks. But I would absolutely love to see that. That'd be a great prediction to see. But 28-17, love that. I'm going 42-20. That's high. That's very, very high. Colts 69, Jags 69, Ty. Thanks, Cookie. Thanks for your in-depth analysis. 31-14. I have a feeling Odom's going to make at least 1 pick. Oh, I'd love to see George Odom step up too, because obviously he's going to be starting instead of Kari. I hope he's starting instead of Kari. and then player of the game being Taylor. But seeing George Odom out there and make a pick would be a huge play. I love the way George Odom plays. I hope he stays with a Colt forever. Player of the game being Taylor, though, yeah. He's going to have – if he has 150 yards, that would be absolutely incredible. I think that would – because James Robinson's out, that would actually make him the rookie rushing leader as well. That would be incredible. All right. Let's see here. You guys are ridiculous in the chat. Dolphins win. Our playoff hopes are dead. Playoff hopes are dead. Yes, they are. Let's not talk about being dead. I'm just kidding. I don't understand why Phillip does not throw the ball to MPJ. He has God-given height and weight for a reason. Throw him the ball in the red zone. If you've watched some of our pregame shows, if you watched anything that Derek and Cody do, we've been harping on this forever. We've been saying throw him in the red zone, throw it to him in the red zone, which I do attribute to the fact that we don't have to sometimes. We have our tight ends in the red zone that Phillip loves to hit, and just our running backs can just either run up middle and make a man miss. Jonathan Taylor against the Steelers, he was hitting the backfield like twice, and he still got into the end zone. It's just we just have so many weapons that sometimes we just don't need to do that. Because if you're thinking about it too, if you're thinking about it from a coaching standpoint, if you're coming up with play calls on the goal line, you're coming up with play calls in the red zone, I'm not going to just be like, okay, 2nd and 10, just throw up a 50-50 ball. I like that idea. I like the idea of being ready for it, of being like, hey, MPJ, I see you're one-on-one. Let's check to it. If they give it to you when you're on the defensive side of the ball or when you get up to the line. But I don't really like the idea of Frank being like, all right, Phillip, just throw it to MPJ. I'd rather him actually have the play call ready to go for it, where like you have a check where you're like, all right, hey, do this, like whatever that is that they do, and then maybe throw it up to him in the red zone then. But I don't want to just a play call to where, okay, get MPJ on a one-on-one. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of the reason why as well. Let me see here. That would require us having Andrew Luck back, and I don't think that's going to happen ever. So we'll see. We do need another QB who can run a little bit more, though. So I understand what you're talking about. Are you saying, do you think Big Q I don't understand necessarily exactly the semtext or the context, but I think what you're saying is, do you think Big Q needs to re-sign, or we need to re-sign Big Q or something like that? Yes, 100%. And he will be the highest paid guard in the league. He will be. That's why we have always so much cap space, because we have a lot of guys we have to pay. We have Darius Leonard needs to be paid, needs to be one of the highest paid linebackers. Quentin Nelson has to be the highest paid guard in history. We also have to pay some of our tight ends soon. I think we should pay Mo Alley Cox a little bit, maybe like a 1 or 2 year deal that's fairly sizable. I think we also need to make sure we re-sign Marlon Mack and TY Hilton. There are some guys on the defensive side of the ball as well. Obviously, we already signed Grover Stewart, which is the perfect thing. I think we also need to make sure we get Xavier Rhodes back. Need to make sure we also have. There are some of you guys that are saying Anthony Walker needs to be back. I agree for a leadership standpoint and for different things like that. But if we have to get rid of someone, I'm not I'm saying like cap wise, I'm saying like money wise, I feel like Ballard would choose him because we have Okereke on the side. I'm not saying that as a bad thing to Anthony Walker at all. Like I absolutely love Anthony Walker. It's just, we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, it is now 12:23. There's about 88 of you guys here. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Thank you guys for being with me throughout this whole anxiety-ridden situation. But I love talking Colts with you guys. I love doing this. I'm now going to give you guys my prediction, who I think is going to be player of the game. And then we're going to go ahead and get off, give you guys a couple minutes to get ready for Red Zone. Go ahead and get your lunch. Go ahead and get some drinks and whatever you need, because Lord knows I need a drink. I'm just kidding. It's 12:23. I'm just kidding. But my prediction today is probably going to be, I think you guys were hitting the nail on the head in the 30 range. I think the Colts are going to be at about 31 points today, maybe hovering around 34, depending on how many field goals, or if we decide to get if we get a defensive touchdown. I'm thinking it's going to be 34-17. I think the Colts are going to come out pretty hard, pretty fast as well. We all know no matter what Frank Reich has been instilling in them. I don't care what anyone else says, or I don't care whatever happens in these playoff games or these other games today. We have to win. We have to win, no question. No scenario of us going to the playoffs happens unless we win. So therefore, I think 34-17, Jags are going to come out swinging as well. Jags have nothing to lose. They already got the first pick. They already got everything ready to go. So I think 34-17 is going to be the end of it. And I'm hoping to God that the Bills win. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for everything today. Hope you guys are having a great holiday, great new year, and everything like that. Go Colts. Go Big Blue.